Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing 5.2, which is all about triangle congruency. So in 5.1, we talked about how to name congruent triangles, congruent polygons. Today we're going to kind of talk about how we can prove triangles congruent, which is going to lead to us doing proofs later on this week. There are 5 shortcuts that we can utilize to prove triangles congruent. So there's 5 shortcuts we're going to learn, and there are 2 non-shortcuts I'll be teaching you 2. Triangles can be proven using the following congruent postulates, where the S stands for side, A stands for angle. All right, if you utilize HL, H stands for the hypotenuse and L stands for the leg. So we're going to be using S, A, H, and L to help us develop those congruent statements. So the first triangle congruent shortcut is side, 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 or SSS. So here's an example of what side, side, side would look like. If you look at this one, the 2 triangles are congruent because they have all 3 sides marked with congruent statements. So I've got A, B is congruent to DE, BC is congruent to DF, BC is congruent to FE, all right, and CA is congruent to DF. So we have those kind of congruent statements there. We know it's side, side, side because this one's given us a side, and a side, and again, side, side, side. So if I were to say triangle ABC, so A to B to C is our triangle there, I can say that is congruent to DEF. The triangle DEF. The next one is side, angle, side. This is when you have an angle that is in between 2 sides, hence why it's side, angle, side, or SAS. All right, the angle is going to be in between the 2 sides that have congruent markings. So if we look at this example, all right, we've got a side here, whoops, and a side here. And notice how the angle, all right, is in between them. Over here, we've got that side, the tick mark, 2 tick mark, and the angles in between them. So those would be congruent. So if this one's named triangle ABC, the congruent one would be X, Y, Z. All right, so side, angle, side is a reason. We've got angle, side, angle here. All right, this is when I'm giving you 2 angles, and the side in between those 2 angles or touching those 2 angles is also given as well. So here's what it looks like in a picture. We've got 1 angle here with 2 swoosh marks, a single angle, and the tick marks in between those 2. Swoosh. Same over here, so this would be congruent. So if I name this A, B, C, that's her with the 2 tick marks, so W, Y, Z would be the congruent triangle. Next we have angle, angle, side. All right, this is when we have 2 angles and then a side. This is different than angle, side, angle because notice, this side is out here. It's not in between them, all right? So the side that I give to you will not be in between those 2 angles. If I look at this, we've got B and C as our 2 angles. And notice how the side they give us isn't in between them like it was before. All right, so this would be angle, angle, side. Or you could call this side, angle, angle, whichever one you prefer is totally fine. Same with over here, we have an angle, and a side. So my first triangle I named A, B, C. So the angle without any markings, the angle with 1 marking, the angle with 2 markings. So if I recreate that, that's going to be L, E, F. And finally, the last shortcut here is HL. This is a very special situation. HL, it is for only right triangles. That is crucial. Go ahead and star that, highlight that, whatever you want to there. It has to be right triangles, so you have to see a 90-degree marking here. So if I notice both of these are right triangles because they have those 90 degrees, they give us the hypotenuse, which is the side opposite of that right angle. And they give us one of the legs, all right, just one other side of that triangle. So this triangle was named A, B, C. I would name the other one D, E, N. The reasons that we cannot use, all right, we cannot use side, side, angle. That's not going to be a reason. Should. Reason being, you can't say that word if I flip around in school, so no side, side, angle, all right? No donkey, as you can sometimes refer to it as, and we cannot use angle, angle, angle. AAA will not help you out here, all right? So the ones we cannot use are side, side, angle, and AAA. They will not be reasons. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice identifying them, all right? We're going to do a lot of identifying to make sure we can really grasp it. When we do this, we're also going to talk about the congruent statements, all right? I'm not going to have you write statements for all of them, all right, just for a few of them because it can kind of get tedious after a while. So in this picture, you can also make additional markings for yourself. So when I look at this, I've got tick marks here. So we've got a side. We give us another one that they share. All right, so it's the second side. Now the big thing here is these arrows, which again, these arrows mean they're parallel, which means I can say angle 1 and angle 2 are going to be congruent or the same because of alternate interior angles. When I look at this, I would say we've got a side, an angle, and a side. So I would say this is side, angle, side. And we're going to give a congruent statement as well. So I'm going to name that first triangle. I'm going to name it triangle PSR. Is congruent to triangle. If I said P, all right, the congruent over there would be R. S is all by itself, where it's opposite of that third side, so it's going to be Q. All right, and then finally I said R, which has the one swoosh mark over here, that's the P. Okay. For example 2, they give us angles already. So we have two angles. We have S and R are the same. And we have angle T and angle T being the same. We can make an additional marking. Notice how both triangles are sharing that side RT. So you can make a tick mark there. So look at this. I've got an angle, and I have a side. All right, so I would say this is angle, angle, side. My congruent statement, I could say this is triangle SRT for the first triangle. It's congruent to triangle. The angle that matches S is U. The one that matches R is R, and then T. What we're going to do here on the back is we're going to try to identify if they're congruent, and if they are, by what postulate. All right, we don't have to write the congruent statements. All right, we're just going to figure out which one. Again, making sure that we always check to see if there's any additional markings. For this first example here, I don't think there's any extra markings we can make. Let's see if they have the same markings. So I've got a 1 and a 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. All right, those are all sides. So I would say this is side, side, side. For number D, all right, they've got the 1 and the 1. 1 and 1. I think we can make an additional marking. I think since they share that, we're going to put a marking there. So again, I see that they have side, side, side. So I would say this is side, side, side. E, this is a special one here. I've got a side and a side so far. And I've got an angle and an angle. That's only two things. But I can say that this angle right here is congruent to this angle. Why can I say those are equal? Well, because they're vertical angles. So now if I look at this one, I've got an angle, and a side. So I would say angle, angle, side. For number F, or letter F, all right, we've got the 90-degree marking, 90-degree marking. Tick mark, tick mark. They share a side, so I can make an extra marking there. Now I have to pause. Remember, when I see a right triangle, I have to think of HL right away. So let's see if that is. In order to be HL, they have to give you the hypotenuse. Let's see. Oh, they give us the hypotenuse on both, and they give us an extra leg. So I would call this HL. Okay, for G, all right, we have the 90-degree and the 90-degree, and we have a tick mark and a tick mark. Oops. I can't make any other markings because they don't share any sides and I don't see any vertical angles. All right, so I'm thinking, I see that 90 degrees, so I have to think of HL. All right, so for HL, they have to give you the hypotenuse, which they do, and they have to give you an additional leg. But do they give us an additional leg? No, so we only have an angle inside. That's not enough, so we would say not possible. It's not one of our 5 shortcuts. For H, we've got a single tick mark, a single tick mark. So we've got a side and a side. We have 2 tick marks, so side again. I think we can make an additional marking. We can mark that these 2 angles are going to be the same because of vertical angles. So if I look at this first triangle, I've got side, angle, side. So I would say this is side, angle, side. That's one of our shortcuts. For I, they've got the 1 tick mark, 1 tick mark, 2 and 2. I think we can make an additional marking here because of the shared side. All right, so they've got a side, and a side. So I would say this is side, side, side. Over here for J, they've got the tick marks here for those sides. We can make an additional one saying because that side's equal. So I've got a side and a side. Well, is side, side a reason? No, so I would say not possible. There's not enough information for that one. All right, for K, they tell us they are parallel, so we're going to be using alternate interior angles. They tell us that this angle is the same and this angle is the same. If those are parallel, I also know that this angle is the same as that angle right there. Oops. And I know they share their sides, so this side's going to be the same. So right now I've got an angle, and then a side, and then angle. Is angle, side, angle a reason? Well, yeah, I would say it's angle, side, angle. And finally, it's when we've got the tick mark for a side, 2 for another side. I think we can make an additional marking of those vertical angles. So we've got a side, and an angle. Is side, side, angle a reason? No, all right, that's a word we can't say in school, so this is not possible. Okay, side, side, angle is not a reason.